welcome back to another Creating with Guerrilla Art. Today we're going to take a look at making a beautiful sunflower vase by Vincent van Gogh's Sunflowers. Take a look at his picture here. I chose to do a multimedia picture just because I thought it was a little more fun than just painting or drawing. I like to add multi-layers. That's why it's called a multimedia. And in this case, I did some really fun sunflowers made out of, can you guess what they're made out of? Give you a close up. They're made out of coffee filters, and a super easy process. We're going to be using some really fun elements today. Let's not wait another second. So our supplies that we're going to be needing today are, let's take a look. We're going to be using, to create the vase, we're going to be using paper. On this vase here, I used music paper. Let's get close up so you can see. Which I do kind of like the music paper a little more better than just straight paper, but they're both really fun and they give it neat looks to it. I just ran out of music paper. I do use recycled books. These books are completely worn down that I have used. They're meaning that the pages, the binding, everything's it's beyond repair, and those are the books that I choose to give it another life. I love to recycle whenever possible. So we're using that paper. We're using washable markers. We've got a brown one, a green, yellow, and an orange. Don't think I forgot any. Pencil, and then my favorite, you all know, oil pastels. We've got a yellow one. I had to get a new brown one because the last one was so tiny. Orange, gray, and black. Then you're going to need a blue paper, and that's what we're going to be putting everything on. Now to make our sunflowers, you're going to be using coffee filters. And these are fun because you can do a lot of projects with coffee filters. I've seen so many fun things. In fact, I'm going to do another video on some fun things that you can make using coffee filters. These you can get at the dollar store. Usually a pack of 100 is like $1. So I love it because they're cheap and easy. So you're going to be needing that. And lastly, you're going to be needing some school glue. Any type of glue will work. And I'm ready to get started. Are you? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is the easy, fun, exciting part. Okay? You are going to just be taking our washable markers, and you don't want to use Sharpies because it won't bleed. This is going to spread around once we put water on it. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. You are going to need a water bottle. Got one right here. And I'm just going to color it all with the yellow marker. I'm not thinking too hard about where I'm coloring. It's not supposed to be this perfect thing because it's going to bleed all over. But I am using the side of my marker as opposed to just using the tip. And then I'm going to do the outside orange. And what we're creating is sunflowers. And it's not exactly, they're not exactly like sunflowers. I don't want to cover the whole thing, but maybe one like a little bit like that. See, it's kind of weird. Doesn't look like a sunflower at all right there. But once we spray it and we get it colored, it just gives a very fun impression of flowers. When you just first glance at this picture, you do kind of know that it's flowers. And that's all we're doing. Kind of giving you that impression. So now I'm going to spray it with the water, and then you get to scrunch it up. I don't think I got it wet enough. You get to scrunch it up, and then look at how it bled. Those colors just bled all around. It's kind of hard to tell on this orange paper. There, you can really see it there. Isn't that neat? Then I'm going to open it up going to be careful because it can tear at this point. And I'm going to do the center, making a circle. It's actually going to be pretty big. Okay, filling that in. And I'm going to respray it. Okay, so I did the brown right in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm only going to fold it over, and then I'm just going to squeeze it right here. I'm not going to squeeze it down there because I don't want that brown to spread all the way around. I'm going to open it up and see what I think. That's pretty good. I do, you know, I do feel like maybe I could have brought it out just a little wider. Fold it over again, and I'm just gonna press, just squeezing it. There I go, I like that. So it just kind of left a brown center. See that? Oh, I know it's so hard for you to see on this orange paper. There. Doesn't that kind of look like a sunflower? I think it's so pretty. So I'm gonna do a whole bunch of these. I suggest that you know, color them all once and then spray them and do it all at once, as opposed to coloring one, spraying it. Whichever way works for you is fine. But I'm gonna do a whole bunch more, and I'm gonna let them dry. And then I'm gonna come back, and then we're gonna start the next part of this lesson. Okay, so I'm back, and I have finished my flowers, and what I forgot to tell you is how many to do. And I would think that you would need about 10. I've got, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, not 10, 7. And it's an uneven number. I don't know what it is about uneven numbers, but I usually tend to put uneven amounts of things, just so for visual interest, I think it gives it. So go ahead and finish up your 7 and meet me back here. Okay, so now we're on to the next step. While our sunflowers are drying, we are going to be creating the vase that our sunflowers are going to go into. And we want to make it pretty big. We want to use up most of this paper, and this is a big size paper. It's an 8.5 by 11 size paper. And I'm going to start with the bottom of our vase, and it's going to have a slight curve just like this. Can you see that? I'm going to start drawing in Sharpie. So let me grab my Sharpie here. Bottom of our vase is flat, but it does slightly curve up right there on the ends. And if you look at it, it's at least as big as my hand all the way to the bottom of my thumb. So I want you to make sure that your vase is as big as your hand. So if you place your hand like this, it's going to go from the top to the bottom of your hand. And now I'm going to draw these two sides that have a slight curve to them. Do you see how it's narrower and then it goes in a little bit there, goes out and then in? Yeah. And this will come in like this. You're not going to see this top part at all because it's going to be covered with flowers. There's our vase there. And this is definitely bigger than my hand. So if your hand, you put it at the bottom here, and it's shorter than your hand, you've done your vase too small. You want to do it nice and big because we're going to cover up a big piece of paper. And then we're going to start, actually, I take it back, I'm going too soon. We've got to put our little line right here. Now remember, you're doing this in pencil, okay? I'm just doing the Sharpie so that you guys can see it. And you want to draw really light so that if you have any mistakes or if your vase isn't big enough, you're going to have time to erase it. Anyways, so I just did a nice little curve right here, and that gives the illusion that our vase continues on and that it's kind of a three-dimensional object popping out. So there's our vase right there. I'm going to put a cap on here. And now we're going to switch over to our oil pastels. Got them all jumbled up right there. We're going to start with the top. I'm going to do a 2-colored vase just to make it fun. And Vincent van Gogh's, who was our inspiration, had a 2-toned looking vase. I've got to get that mark paper off. Okay, so what I like to do is start off using the long side and color it in. You know, it's more bang for your buck because it colors it in faster if you use the long side. But then as I get to the edges, I'm going to just press a little harder. And that'll also help give it a little dimension, looking darker on the edges. Okay. And, you know, I'm going to use just a little bit of orange too. Just a little bit. On the edges, not on the inside, because I want this part here to be a little lighter. Okay. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the same thing with gray. I'm going to color this in. And it's kind of fun because you can still see the letters and the words. I love using books to draw on and paint on. I think it just makes it look really cool. Now again, I'm going to come in a little harder. Oop, broke it. I'm going to press a little harder on the edges. Okay, and then I'm going to use my finger. You got to make sure you got a clean finger. And I'm just going to smudge it a little bit. You do want to be careful about rubbing. You don't want to rub too hard when you're using paper because it's a thinner material than, like, say if you were doing this on watercolor paper or something. Book paper is much thinner and it will tear. Okay, so got that. You know, I'm remembering a color, oil pastel color, that I forgot to tell you we needed as I'm doing this and seeing. I like to hold my paper down with my hand and then rub it. We are missing white. I forgot to tell you about white. A very dirty white. And probably won't notice it much, but I am going to do some white right in the middle. Because usually when you have an object that's not flat, it kind of is curved, light will bounce onto that curved part. So when we add light in the middle, it helps give that illusion again that it is a three-dimensional object. So, and you can kind of see that through the camera. You can see it does kind of look like it's rounded, right? Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do some black right here. We want to add just a little shadowing there. Now because I did the Sharpie, I have it's already black, but what I want you to do, because you didn't use Sharpie, is to go around all the edges with the black, and I'm using just the edge of my oil pastel. Adding a little here, like I said, I just want a little shadow. And I am gonna spread it with my finger here. Smear it all around. I don't want any harsh lines. See, it blends right into each other. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, now I do recommend you clean your finger. That's what I'm gonna do here, so I don't make a mess on my paper. All right, got a clean finger. You're gonna also need some leaves for your for the flowers. Let me show you. So we need some leaves, and so I'm going to just make a few leaves here and there so I don't accidentally cut into them. That one had about 7 leaves. I don't think you need even that much. It's up to you. let's see, what do I have? I have 5. I need one more, I think. Ooh, almost running out of space. 6. And you can color the leaves in now if you want and then cut them. I'll do that, why not? That way I don't have to be perfect. So I'm using my green to color them in. I didn't worry about staying on the lines because when I cut it out, it's going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and do an outline and then a little line right down the center. I didn't do that on those other ones. I'm doing it on this, so, you know, you can change your mind. And everybody's going to look different, and that's going to be okay. It's going to be cool. Okay. One more. And then again, I forgot to tell you another thing that we need, but you're gonna need scissors. So at this point, I want you to get all caught up, get your colors on, get your leaves drawn, make sure you trace them. And then when you're done, cut it out, all the leaves and your little vase, and then we'll go on to the next step. See you back. Hey, welcome back. So we've got our blue paper now. This is just construction paper, and I've got it all ready. I'm kind of positioning where I want my vase to go. I don't want it too high up because that, you know, we're looking at proportion. We want it to be balanced on our paper. That's part of the principles of art, is looking for the balance of where to place things and where to put it. I do like things, even in photography, if you're taking a picture of something and it's not exactly right in the middle and centered, and it's off to the side, it does provide visual interest. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. My vase is going to be slightly off center. So center would be here, and it's off of that, off center. I also, like I said, I don't want it too high, and I don't want it too low, because we're going to create a table below it. And one thing I want to show you guys, so I just kind of get in a look of where I want it. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw a line. Ooh, I don't think you guys can see it. You know what? Let's see. Got some chalk. You'll see it with chalk. You use a pencil because you could see it with your eye, but for me, I want you to be able to see it with the chalk. So I did an imaginary line across and all the way. Notice that I didn't do it so that it was like sitting on top of it. I kind of did it, the table behind it. That gives the illusion that the vase is closer to you and that the table will continue on. So I wanted to get that line, and now I'm actually start drawing the color in. I've got orange, and I just went over that imaginary line. I'm taking the flat side and I'm just rubbing it along. And then I want some interest in it, so I'm going to take some brown. And I'm just going to do some lines along, back and forth. And you know what? I think on the other one I did some yellow too. Our table's got a whole bunch of fun things happening on it. Maybe it's got light and shadows on it. Who knows? But I like it. There's my table line. I can see it's dipping there. I'm going to fix that. Easy to fix things. Never worry about stuff in art because there's no mistakes. So that's about where I had it before. You see how it's got some underneath here, some space. And then I've got my little leaves. We're going to use these in a little bit. But I think what I'm first going to do is I'm going to get my glue. Hopefully this glue works. Sometimes it gets stuck in there. And I'm just going to glue. I always glue the outside first. See, the edges go all the way around. And then I tend to do like a crisscross. And then I put a little bit in the middle of the crisscross. Some kids, they use so much glue that it's like crazy, okay? You don't have to use that much glue. I'm gonna hold it up so you can really see it. How much glue I use, see? Turn it over. Remember, it's gonna be off center. I'm just pressing. I don't want to smear it because remember the oil pastel is very soft and it will smear. Now I'm coming back to my pretty little sunflowers that I did over here. Now what I like to do, mine aren't as dry. Hopefully yours dry. And if yours hasn't dried, you can do two things. You can wait an hour or two, wait for it to dry, or you can put them on a paper plate and blow dry them. And it gets them really dry. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come back to you in just a second. I got mine all dry. Like I said, I put them on a plate and then I took the blow dryer and got them all dry. I think it just helps with gluing a little bit. Okay, so what we wanna do is turn these a little more into flowers. And what I like to do is fold them over and then I twist right in here in the middle. And just give it a good twist. Just like that. I'll do a couple more so you can see. And then I can open this up. And it looks like a little flower. See? So I'm gonna fold it over, and then on that corner, I'm gonna twist it. You don't want to twist it too much because then your flower will get real tiny. There we go. There's different ways you can do it. You can always just stick your finger in like that, see? And then just twist it that way. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Fold it over. Twisty, twisty. I think it's good when you don't open some of them, you leave a little bit closed. And some of them open. Now you gotta have fun. I didn't do as many flowers as on mine as I recommend like I did on the first one. So hopefully you did a few more flowers. I think it's fun if you don't place them all like in a big bunch like that. You want to have them kind of spread out a little bit. Maybe one's kind of falling down here just a smidge. You know, just have fun. Place them where you like. And by the way, if you want to cut them up, in fact, I'll cut one up just so you can have a slightly smaller flower. You know, maybe like a baby flower, you could do that. There's one that's just a little smaller. I think it's good to have different sizes, okay? And you're gonna place them where you want them. See, I wish I had another one to put right there. But at this point, you get them where you want and apply your glue. You do need a good amount of glue. You know, show you one. You really want it to get in there. So I have a little dollop, see? And I'll just place. Now this is gonna take overnight to dry. And then you're going to continue on and glue the others. And when you've got them all glued, then go back and glue in your leaves. I like them when they kind of just pop out, just like that, see? Maybe here. You know, you got to play around, see what you like. And then you just glue them on and pop them on. And there is our mixed media sunflowers. Aren't they beautiful? I think they're just a bright ray of sunshine. I love seeing mine. I definitely want to see yours. So don't forget, take those pictures and tag me on Instagram at #GorillaArtStudio. And if you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, because I'll be creating more every week and I don't want you to miss out. Catch you on the next Creating with Gorilla Art.